Hi, this is Pastor George again. We're on the GenNowRide, and this is Nicholas Ortiz, barber extraordinaire from Milwaukee. And he's one of our, what has turned into a three-man biking tour right now. So, Nick, why don't you tell us about yourself and tell us about your bike.
I'm a bicyclist. This is my first time actually doing a tour of any type. I guess I jumped into the pool, in the deep end on this one. But it's been awesome. I love it. I love bicycling in general. I've been on a bicycle since I was a child. I was a racer. I made a living on a bicycle as a career for a long time. I'm a commuter. I've only owned several cars in my life, and I see no reason why the bicycle isn't a valid tool in a form of transportation. And I wouldn't push it on anybody else, but I personally love it, so
cool.
I stick with it.
So tell us about your bike.
This is the bike that I'm using right now. I just picked this baby up maybe about 2 months before the actual trip, and I'm loving it so far. My usual ride, as far as commuting, is a little more stripped down. I do 1 to 3 speeds, mostly for maintenance, because I do a lot of heavy weather riding. Wintertime, I usually use a single speed just because I don't have to clean out the derailleur, which I just had to do on this bike. But I have to admit, I'm loving having the gears again. It makes me realize how much faster I can move. I think I would top out about 16, 17 on a single speed. And I think that once I get home and I strip all my bags off and I start riding my bike a little bit more, I'll probably be topping out a little heavier than that. But,
so what's been your top speed on this ride? Do you remember?
I hit 39.5 going down a bridge, coming out of the Keys down in Florida.
And how
I haven't
fast?
topped that one yet.
How fast did you go running away from that dog yesterday?
I was a little under 26, and it was matching me.
Yeah, that's right.
It was good. I was a fast dog. Got tired though. I didn't get tired. So this is Specialized. I like Specialized. The main bikes in my life have been either Specialized or Bianchi. Bianchi's kind of let me down lately. They don't have the same quality that they used to have. And well, the bike that I bought prior to this, I got about 13 years ago, was a single-speed Specialized, and I used to use it on a job, and I've always liked it, so I decided to go with this guy. I looked at a couple other tour bikes, but I'm a little shorter. I'm 5'5", and this is actually a cyclocross bike. It's not an actual tour bike, but it seemed to fit me a little bit better. It's got a little more rake to the fork. It looks straight here, but it's actually got a little slight bend to the front here, which gives you a little more control. A typical race bike the fork would probably come down closer like this, which would bring the wheel really close here. And it gives you a little more, it's like snappier traction, but this is better for the long haul, especially when you're carrying the bags and stuff on here. Riding a Brooks saddle. I picked this baby up right before we left, and it's finally starting to get broken in after 1,000 miles. It's always been comfortable, though, I have to admit. I've never had a problem with Brooks. But you should have seen it when I started. It was flat, completely flat. And this is what my butt looks like right here.
Those 2 holes.
From the outside point of view.
That's good.
Pump. I just put these fenders on because I had some clip-on guys, but nobody else appreciated it. I was getting everybody else wet. I do use a light in the front here. I got a pretty powerful beam. I like lights on the front. I think it gives cars more of an idea that you're actually a moving vehicle if you have it on the bike itself. I never really used a mirror before. It's kind of irritating, to be honest, but necessary. I'm really used to looking over my shoulder, and I still do that a lot. I find that even though this is a really helpful tool, usually when I look at it, I just see the person riding behind me, and then I wave.
What's this weird little black thing?
Oh, this is a mount. I'm videotaping this trip. A lot of the riding, I'm mostly focusing on the riders themselves right now. I originally planned on talking a lot more to the people that we met, but to be honest, we met some really cool people, and it was a lot different than I expected. I didn't want to violate the trust that these people are showing to us by pulling out a camera and getting in their face, even though I'll probably regret that later on. But So I'm going to focus more on the riders themselves and the actual riding and the process of going through that. But I have a camera here. I mount a camera in the front here. Got greasy fingernails. So I can do time lapse and regular video. I also pull it off at certain times to kind of do more of a handheld view of the road behind me and such. And I just picked up another camera for still shots and for a second camera usage. And then when I get home, I'm going to take all that stuff and throw it in the pot and stir it around and see what happens. And hopefully you all get to see that as well.
Cool.
And I would definitely recommend, I love this bike. It's been fast. It's quick. I think it's a little quicker than a usual touring bike would be.
Now, can you pull away? Let's take a look at the other side for a second for people that are really interested.
Sure. It's got a triple chainring, which I've actually never used before. Even mountain bikes, I've always had doubles.
So what does that mean, triple chain ring?
There's three chain rings here. You got the upper, medium. This is what they usually call the granny gear because we use it when we're climbing up gigantic mountains, which we haven't faced so far. Although the wind, too, you can use it in the wind. I've got this Shimano Sora, which isn't top of the line, but it's totally doable for me. Cantilever brakes. These help because traditional road brakes are a little tighter. They can fail easier, although they're lighter. And this has a lot of clearance for when you're getting all the mud and gunk and sand comes up here. It actually sheds off the side. It doesn't get stuck in the brake like for the V-brakes or regular caliper brakes.
Cool.
And rear lights, of course, although I have to admit I wish I had some bigger ones, because some days you need them.
And you also use a cycling computer.
I do, yep. Luckily mine has not failed on me yet. And that's our mileage right now. 1,322 miles.
There you go.
We've got 3 weeks of riding with 2 days off. This is our third day off, but I'm going to count that in the second, third weeks.
All right. So what is a tri-cross bike usually used for?
Cyclocross is a form of racing with a road-style frame where you do road trails. Not quite as intense as a mountain bike, perhaps. You wouldn't be jumping off of boulders and stuff like that, obviously with the geometry. But it's a little tougher than a usual road bike. It can take some damage and it can bounce over stuff a lot. And I'm a smaller, lighter dude, so I can a cyclocross is good for me because I can just bounce over stuff if I need to, even with the bags on, which I don't have any on right now.
And these racks, because when we were talking to Jeff, he didn't point out, but these racks you added to the bike, right?
I did.
Point to the racks so that people know what I'm talking about.
These are the racks right here. The thing that I'm grabbing onto right here. This is what we put the bags are actually called panniers because of the French influence on cycling. They attach. You can see the wear marks right here where mine attach.
Oh yeah.
Here, and there's another little clip on right here. You can pull them off. I'm just running 4 bags right now. 2 back here. Clothes, sleeping, and hygiene, and put all my camera equipment up here, and then this is a spare guy for tools and food stuff. Okay,
so that weird metal bar there that you're touching is the front rack.
Yep, this is the front rack right here.
And you added that as well.
I did. I think when I get home I'll probably take this guy off. Maybe not. And I think I'm going to leave the back guy. I've grown attached to this guy. It's good for grocery shopping and such.
So you'd recommend this bike for touring the way that you're using it now?
I would. I think if I was a bigger guy, I'd go for a more traditional touring bike. They're made for heavier loads. But I would recommend this as more of a general bike as well, because when I get home I'll be able to use it for commuting, recreational riding, even just like going to the beach or whatever. Whereas a touring bike is a little more specific in its use.
Cool. All right, Specialized Tri-Cross Sport. Nick's choice for a touring bike on the GenNowRide.
And it's blue.
That's right. Thanks, Nick.